As one of the big three anime, Naruto obviously had a massive influence on what we're seeing today. However, there are a few things Naruto did that I'd like to see more of in current shonen. Today, I'm going to talk about three of those things. And let me get this right out of the way. This is not me hating on current running anime at all. My Hero Academia, Demon Slayer, Chainsaw Man, Solo Leveling, Kaiju Number 8, and many others are all shonen out right now that I adore, and I'll prove it later in the video by getting to something modern shonen do great. This is simply praise for what Naruto did well. It's my favorite of the big three for a reason, and there are ways it succeeded that I think current anime could take inspiration from. Let's kick things off with the first one, world building. You see a lot of attempts to do this in isekai, but not so much in bigger shonen. For example, even though I'm a massive fan, specific locations don't really matter in most of the series I listed above. In Naruto, the hidden leaf mattered, the hidden sand mattered, and felt completely different. In fact, each region had its own feel to it. They all had their own look, culture, and morality. We learned about the history of these places and the reasons why they were all so different, the way each village was governed, and the politics that went into it added another element to the show. That's something I don't see much of today, and something I'd like to see more of. Obviously, it's tough to do that in modern real-world settings, and it's not required by any means, but it can be additive. Black Clover has touched on it, and the locations do feel different, but at the moment it feels surface level, and hopefully when the show comes back, we get a deeper understanding of why things are the way they are. Danmachi is another one that has done a solid job with it. It's also worth pointing out that Naruto had hundreds of episodes to develop its setting and lore, which a lot of current anime hasn't or won't get. I don't miss all the filler, but I would like more world building. That takes us to item number 2, sexy jutsu. Oh, sorry, wrong slide. High quality villains. Hold up, aren't you the guy who made a video on Overhaul? Didn't you call Sukuna a potential GOAT contender? Yes, I did. But before you pick up any pitchforks, let me explain myself. Naruto is probably the pinnacle when it comes to series with an abundance of compelling villains. In modern anime, there are a lot of great main villains, but the rogues galleries as a whole aren't really comparable. I think My Hero and Jujutsu Kaisen have done the best job of this, having a handful of compelling villains each, whereas others might only have one, if that. Naruto proved that you can have various compelling villains throughout the course of the show. Main villains, side villains, villain groups. The list goes on. And while they went too far at times giving every character in the show 10 episodes of backstory, it is something I'd like to see more of. Now, things like Kaiju Number 8 and Solo Leveling are only 12 episodes in and have plenty of time to ramp that up, but in general, as a villain simp, I'd like to see more of an impact outside of the big bad. Before I bring up the last thing I'd like to see emulated, I want to talk about something modern shonen has been nailing, and that's the efficient storytelling from the get-go. Anime today starts off so much quicker than it used to. No longer does it take 37 episodes to get good. Chainsaw Man, Solo Leveling, Kaiju Number 8, Frieren, and more are able to get you invested immediately and have really strong first seasons, which I appreciate a lot. Finally, the last thing I'd like to bring up is incorporating other generations into the show. No, I do not mean Boruto. I mean Hashirama and Madara, Kaguya, Minato. Maybe it's the history buff in me, but having other generations play a role in the show or show how history became the way it is can be a really additive writing tool. It makes the world feel more interesting. You can get some cool tie-ins or epic returns from legendary figures or callbacks to historical moments. You can even learn great truths about villains, which is something I hope Kaiju Number 8 explores. My Hero and Demon Slayer have touched on it, and again, this isn't required of any anime. We don't need to know the history of everything, but it is something current series could learn from Naruto to create a more immersive world. What do you think?